Hey, this is Stop Stressing and Start Living with me, Dennis Crosby. And today I have a story to share. It's actually going to break off into a couple different episodes. But the other day I was out with some friends and we all decided to go on a hike. And this particular hike was a 2,000 foot climb. And it wasn't like a typical graded one, it was stairs. So it was roughly about 2,500 stairs or something that you're climbing, going at a pretty steep clip. And needless to say, it was very difficult. And I am not in pristine physical shape by any means. I consider myself mediocre physical condition at best. And during this process, I saw a lot of parallels to the experience that I was going through versus the experiences that I go through in the rest of my life. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, in today's episode, I really want to talk about the idea of pace. And all throughout my 20s, when I was pretty much stressed all the time, I was constantly comparing where I was at in life and how fast I was progressing through life compared to other people. And it never worked out. Either I saw people as progressing way faster than me and I felt like shit about myself, or I found myself progressing faster than others, but then I still thought about the people who were ahead of me and I still felt like shit. So no matter who I compared myself to, I always ended up feeling like shit. And during this climb, it was interesting because at first I was comparing myself with my friends who I was with. And I was with 3 other people. 2 of them were in very good physical condition. They just took off and kept going and just made it look easy. And then the other guy stayed about 100 steps ahead of me most of the time. And his goal was just to keep moving no matter what. He told me that before we started. And I was sitting there, I was looking, and I was like, man, maybe I need to put more into this. Maybe I need to go harder. Maybe I need to go catch up with them. And as those thoughts came, I started feeling bad about myself. I started feeling weak. I started feeling less than. And after about 5 minutes of that, I was like, oh, this is stupid. What am I getting so bent out of shape about? This isn't a race. First and foremost, if this was a race, it'd be a whole different situation. It'd be in competition mode. It'd be in competition about bringing the best out of yourself. This was simply supposed to be an enjoyable experience. And at that moment, I wasn't enjoying it. So what I realized was that no matter what happened, no matter how fast I went, how slow I went, if I took breaks, if I didn't take breaks, if I caught up, if I stayed behind, no matter what, we were all going to the same damn place. We were all going to get to the top of those stairs. And if I was getting up there at the same time, 10 minutes slower, 15 minutes slower, even an hour slower, which it wasn't, but it could have been, it wouldn't have mattered. It would have made literally zero impact on our entire day. And when I realized that, I thought that, isn't that true about life in general? Let's use something that people tend to always want to say. They always talk about having $1 million business or just starting their own business. Whether you start it today, a year from now, or 5 years ago, in the grand scheme of things, it really makes no difference. None whatsoever. We're all going to end up in the ground anyways. We're all just enjoying the journey. And whatever particular benchmarks you set for your journey, no matter what they are, they're relatively arbitrary. So pace just doesn't matter. How fast you're going through life doesn't matter. How much success or how fast you're getting success, whatever. None of it matters. I just don't know how else to explain it. And for me, this feels really clear, but I feel like it's going to feel very controversial for a lot of people. But all that matters is choosing a pace that's right for you. And going back to this climb, I decided that my pace was, I'm going to climb 50 steps, take a 30-second break. Climb 50 steps, take a 30-second break. And that was my pace. And that was my pace through most of it. There were a couple times where I banged out 60, 75. There was a couple where I only banged out 40. There was one where I just felt invincible for a second and busted out 300 steps. Like, it just was what it was. But I chose my pace and I stuck with it. And ultimately, like I said, it didn't matter. I fell, what was it? Maybe 8 minutes behind the guy who was right in front of me, and then 15 minutes behind my friends who were in really great condition. And I felt great at the end of this climb. And it made no difference had I been there 15 minutes earlier or not. It was the pace that worked for me. It was challenging, but I still wasn't like dying. I wasn't to the point where I felt like I was going to vomit. So that was the lesson I took away from this. And I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on this. And maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe this means nothing. Maybe I'm completely off base. But when I was doing this, and as I reflected back to it, it just felt right and felt true to me. So I'd love to hear your comments on this. If you're watching this through video, comment below. If you're listening to the podcast, please go to my website, DennisCrosby.com. There's a comment form down there. And let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. All right. So thanks for spending your time with me. I know time is our most valuable resource. It's the one thing we can't buy more of. So I appreciate you spending it with me. Take care. Talk to you tomorrow.